Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So this week, it was this week, the Premier League actually released a list of I think how many players? There are about 8 players, that are contending for the Premier League Player of the Season award. And in my head, I thought we already came to a conclusion that Bruno Fernandes more than deserves it, given his performance this season. But I was surprised when I saw the list, and I'm like, okay, it's normal. The normal thing would be for people to vote, all right, because if you ask me very personally, I think Bruno Fernandes deserves it. I mean, he's provided 19 assists and he's also scored goals. I think this season he has about 8 Premier League goals. You can't even compare him to someone like Declan Rice, who has about 4 goals, and way less number of assists. All right, so just in case you've not seen it, there are about 8 players who have made that list. 3 of them are from Arsenal, fortunately for them, but I don't know, none of them is going to win the award. So the 8 of them include Bruno Fernandes, who of course is going to win the award, Gabriel, as Arsenal's central defender, Morgan Gibbs-White, of course, Nottingham Forest midfielder, Erling Haaland, who by the way hasn't really had an impressive season, even though of course he's the highest goal scorer, David Raya, who has made quite a number of very impressive saves this season. I mean, great guy. I don't know where Arsenal got that guy, but they are really fortunate to have someone like him. He makes a lot of crazy saves. Then Declan Rice, he's had a not so impressive season, but I mean he's done a lot, for the club, given that he's played almost every game Arsenal's played this season. So you're talking about the number of hours he's really, played for several thousands of hours. And then you also have Antoine Semenyo, who just came to Man City this season. He's had an impressive season. I mean, he scored goals, he's provided assists. And then you have Igor Thiago, who plays for Brentford. So you've had the list of 8 players. Who do you genuinely think deserves the Premier League Player of the Season award? Just share thoughts on the comment section. For me, like I said earlier, I think Bruno Fernandes more than deserves it because, like Declan Rice, he's played in virtually every game that Manchester United has played this season, except maybe when he was out on, I think it was he red card or injury. All right, so he deserves it more than any other player on this list. All right, so if I'm going to trim it down to maybe final 3, for me, it's going to be Bruno Fernandes, Gabriel, and then David Raya. All right, these are but out of them, so except we're going to have first place, second place, and then third place. So it's going to be Bruno Fernandes, Gabriel, and then David Raya. All right, but if it's just one person, my top pick remains Bruno Fernandes. So we also have, that's apart from the Player of the Season award category, we also have nominees for the Coach of the Season award, and on that list is Andrews. Andrews is Brentford's coach, and then we have Arteta, Arsenal. We have Michael Carrick, I'm laughing, Manchester United. We have Pep Guardiola, Man City. We have Areola, Bournemouth, and then we have Arsenal Lebris, Sunderland. All right, so there are 6 of them who have been shortlisted for the Premier League Coach of the Season award. Honestly, I think for this one, Arteta deserves it. I would have said Michael Carrick, but that would mean me judging based on when he took over, at Manchester United, and that's talking about how many games now? I think about 10, 11, 12 matches or thereabouts. If he was there from the beginning of the season and then he was performing like this, he would have easily won the award. But given that he just came in, then he took over just a few matches and then. All right, but we can't change the fact that Michael Carrick has really been impressive this season, ever since he took over. But for this award, I think Mikel Arteta deserves it. Then we also have another category, and that is Young Player of the Season award. This one is quite dicey. So there are about 8 people on that list, and they include Cherki. Cherki is Manchester City's midfielder, and then you have Fernandes, West Ham. You have Hall, Newcastle. Hall, if you watch this guy, the whole defense like protector. The guy is really good. At some point I was even wishing that Manchester United would go for him. I mean, he would be like a very perfect replacement for Luke Shaw when he leaves. And then we have Kayode. This one is a master of throwing. The guy, they do throwing like corner. We have that he plays for Brentford. Then we have Kropi, plays for Bournemouth. Then we have the main man himself. Of course, you know who I'm talking about, Kobe Mino, Manchester United. Then you have O'Reilly, Manchester City. And then you have Scott, Bournemouth. If you ask me, my pick would be O'Reilly has been impressive. I mean, if you remember how he scored 2 goals, to give Manchester City, I think it was the Carabao Cup, against Arsenal. We all remember how he dealt with Arsenal in that game. So he's been really impressive, So and then Kobe Mino has also been impressive. But then all of that happened really for me when Michael Carrick took charge at Manchester United. That was when we saw Kobe Mino recovering and then being the best of himself. But I would go for O'Reilly. Yeah, I would go for him because, apart from helping Manchester City to win the Carabao Cup, he's really been impressive. If you watched the number of games that he's been part of, I mean, super impressive guy. And he's somehow found his way into the first team of Manchester City. So he is my candidate for the Young Player of the Season award. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Who do you see winning the Young Player of the Season among all of these people I've mentioned? Who do you think winning the Coach of the Season? I know that for the Player of the Season, that we have already settled it. We have agreed is Bruno Fernandes. There's no need to drag. But for the Coach of the Season and the Young Player of the Season, who do you think are going to win these awards? Thank you very much for watching.